Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with Phrygian here. We're going to use the same process we did with Dorian and make this a cumulative process, stacking knowledge on top of each other, okay? Starting with really simple things and working our way up. So I'm going to point out the things that make Phrygian Phrygian, and maybe even compare it to other types of scales so we can get a... Well, let's just go ahead and get started on this. We're gonna deal with E Phrygian, okay? So Phrygian's got its own unique sound. It's almost like an unstable minor. It doesn't quite resolve. I'll just play in Phrygian for a little bit. It's unstable, kind of sometimes dark. Let me switch Phrygians to B Phrygian, okay? Maybe back to E Phrygian. So it has a very unique sound to it. And very unstable kind of sound. Dark, sometimes dark, but not always. We're going to show later. So Phrygian shares the same exact notes and chords as C major. Okay, so I personally prefer to write it out in this because I don't want to continuously natural the F, okay? So that's the color tone, is the F. It's what to listen to when you want to identify Phrygian, that tone. It's a minor scale with a flat 2, okay? So you want to concentrate really on that flat 2. You want to really hear that in your head. So maybe humming with a pedal point like we did. Na 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 na. If you have to play the note first before you hum it, that's fine too. Eventually you'll get there. No. No. The point of humming things out is to hear things better, not become a real singer. I don't want to be a singer. So the E Phrygian uses the same chords as C major. We got a minor 1, a major 2, a major 3, a minor 4, a diminished 5, a major 6, and a minor 7. Okay, so it shares the same chords as C major, and I prefer to write it out in that. So if I play like in traditional minor, the raised third 5 gives it a very stable sound, and the return point with Phrygian on the other hand, very unstable. Well, slightly unstable, okay. It doesn't have that raised third 5, so it's a little unstable, and that's actually a desired effect sometimes. Comparing the flat 2 to the raised 2, okay? There's a big difference just with that tone. It totally changes the way you feel about this tonal center, okay? It could have a different mood, so if I raise 2, as most normal minors, flat 2, almost a little bit more exotic too, instead exotic, unstable, whatever. Terminology is subjective, so. Phrygian also has that flat 6, which is a little darker. Let's say the Dorian raised 6. It's a little darker with that flat 6 in there, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just improvise on Phrygian, and I'm going to wander around on purpose out of just 2 bunch of different Phrygians. A Phrygian now. With a pedal point. Sounds very... A D Phrygian. G Phrygian. C Phrygian. So eventually we'll get to these points, but I'm not going to call them out. But this is all based on Phrygian. thinking in terms of Phrygian every time I modulate. So let's go ahead and go on to the next video, and we'll start learning how to use the chords of Phrygian, from the most common to the less common. What to get out of this is exactly what we want to get at. We got out of the Dorian basics, is to you initially really want to start hearing things too in your head. So that's why it's important. Just sitting there playing that pedal point exercise, even if you're not a singer, if you could just learn how to eventually reach the point to where you can predict what the sound is as you're playing random melodies and humming it as you're doing that. Good ear training. And it also crosses over, so when you start looking at notation of like something and see that flat 2 of, let's say, E minor, and there's a flat 2 all the time, you're going to hear that Phrygian sound in your head from doing simple exercises like that. That's the whole goal. And so, and just to simply understand what Phrygian is, what it's related to, it's the same, uses the same chords of C major and the same notes. So preferably I like to write it out in that key, whereas some people will actually stick it in E minor, which would have 1 sharp, which doesn't, for me personally, has never made sense to do that with modes, because I continuously have to go in there and put a natural on the F, which can be, you know, I don't know, it's subjective. Do whichever version you prefer. That's my best advice. I always say that for everything. Do which version you prefer. So enjoy. Let's move on to Phrygian basic chords.